very good conversation. My name is Brian. Welcome to Across the Culture Wars, where we talk about politics, education, culture, and many of the things that's taking place. So, currently, unless you've been living in the Iraq, there is a developing political war going on in the Middle East, and things are escalating into full-fledged chaos in the Middle East. Across the United States right now and in the Middle East and other countries, a lot of flights are being canceled in Dubai. Even in the United States, I just seen a report where someone in Kansas City said that their flight was canceled because of this ongoing political chaos. So if you're overseas and you're stuck, or if you're outside of the country, my heart goes with you. I like to travel a lot. So this is something that's really saddening to me because I can only imagine being trapped overseas, not being able to get back home, or having a friend or family member or loved one having their flight or travel plans changed, but they have no timeline of when they will be able to get back. On Yahoo.com, Fox News, and a lot of these reputable sites, they talked about how many people are just now getting home after this chaos and this war has taken place. So a lot of Americans that was in the East, the UAU, they didn't even have a chance to get back here when the war took place, when the bombing started. They just was trapped over there. So in this episode, guys, what I want to discuss is I want to discuss how I think it's possible for YT people to save the world. And the reason why I think is up to them, I'm going to get into that in a minute. But I really want to discuss how right now we are in a crossroads between where we're going to go from here. On one side, we have complete just chaos. On the other side, we have make the world a better place. And I believe that all of my friends, family, and people that I don't know that are of European descent, I think that is really up to you guys to choose what direction the world is going to go into. I believe that white people have the responsibility of choosing if the world continues to go into chaos or if we manage to find peace. Now, that is a huge responsibility, but I believe that it is like this because all of the countries that have nuclear weapons or countries with predominantly European dominated populations. All of the countries that have all of the military technology which could be used to completely destroy the planet or countries that's dominated by Europeans. So we have a choice. How can we create peace on the planet? And it's really up to you guys. And I believe that you guys are going to make the best decision. I believe in you. I believe in you. I believe that you guys are going to make the world a better place because this planet is the planet that we all have to live on. We don't have another planet to go to. And I want you guys to ask yourself, what would a constructive society look like? A society where everyone has health care, food, shelter, clothing, instead of a society where only a privileged few get access to these means. Now, do I believe that we're going to live in a utopia? No, I don't. But if any one of these countries that are European dominated use a nuclear weapon, it's going to affect all of us. All of us are going to be affected. So let's let's back up a little bit and let's go into a historical let's have a historical conversation. This conversation by no means is to disrespect anyone because of their country of origin, race, religion, ethnicity. This is just my perspective on what I think. And I've come to the conclusion it's up to white people to save the world. And that's a huge responsibility. But it's literally up to white people to save the world. All of the black people, especially the black Americans, we have done the best that we can to make the world a better place. We have given our lives, we have served in every military combat. We are not a perfect people. We in every group of people, you have good people, bad people, you have advancement and disadvancement. But I would say that we have contributed everything that we can contribute to make the world a better place. But now I'm asking you all to make the world a better place. Okay? It's up to you guys to save the world. Do you want to live in a world where the next generations and future generations has a planet to inherit? Or do you want to live in a world where the next 30 years or 50 years or 100 years, this is it? Do we want to live in a world where birth rates continue to decline? Do we want to live in a world where only a privileged few get access to resources and the majority of people do not? Do we want to live in a world where rent, the cost of living, the mortgage systems, healthcare, insurance, all of these prices continue to rise and benefit a select few, an oligarch? Or do we want to live in a world where equality is spread out towards more people? So the question, how can white people save the world? That's a good question. That is a very good question. And I'm not being facetious when I say this. How can YT people save the world? I think that they can save the world because they have access to more education, they have access to more resources, funding, and they're in rooms that the majority of us are not allowed to be in. So, quite naturally, it's up to these people to decide to make the world a better place. So, I think it's going to go two ways. One way is peace, the other way is total chaos. There's a famous speech by the former emperor of Ethiopia, which was later turned into a song by Bob Marley and the Wailers called War. And the core lyrics is, until the philosophy that holds one race superior and another inferior is totally and permanently dismantled and abandoned, everywhere is war. Until the color of a man's skin is no more significant than the color of his eyes, everywhere is war. Do you guys want to live on a planet where there's war everywhere? Guys, in the Middle East, Latin America, Africa, Europe, the Caribbean, it's just war on the planet right now. It's up to you guys to voice that you don't want this. You guys are, God has given you such a power. You guys are in the captain seat of the world, okay? It's up to you to decide and band together and say, no, we don't want more war. And the reason I've come to this conclusion is because black Americans, black Caribbeans, black people all over the world, the last 500 to 1,000 years, we have been put in a subordinate position. Black people around the world have been put in a subordinate position where we have been in a position where the world stands on our shoulders and other people benefit. However, we have still advocated to make the world a better place, even in a weakened position. So now we're asking, and I'm specifically asking the YT people to do your job and the sacrifice to make the world a better place. Because if you do not, and countries actually begin to use nuclear weapons, there won't be a planet for for any of us to live on. It's up to you guys, and that's a huge responsibility. And I know that there's so many conversations, and so many people are saying WAR, WAR, do it, do it. But listen, guys, my dad served in the Marine Corps. My grandfather served in the United States Army. Okay, I have cousins that's in the military right now. So many people want their family members to come back home. Okay, I am asking you guys, whether it's locally or nationally, to stand up and let your voices be heard. Because if it's coming from a person like me, a lot of people are not going to listen. It's up to white people to save the world. It's up to white people to save the world. It's up to you guys to decide the future of humanity. And that's a huge responsibility. And I know what some people are thinking. Some people might hear that and say, "Ah, this guy is a lunatic. He doesn't know what he's talking about. What does he mean is up to white people to save the world?" All of the countries with nuclear weapons are countries with a European dominated population and European countries. It's up to you guys to save the world. If you guys and I know that most people that are of European descent now in the United States we classify them as white. Most people are just trying to get access to resources, send their kids to college, get retirement. A lot of you guys are oppressed also, and I get that. So I understand it's like, well, what can we do? We're oppressed too, right? A lot of you guys need surgeries, medications, treatment. You guys need justice. And what the system has done is the system has threatened you and to say that if you do not side with them, you're going to be treated like us. You know that we understand that? But here's the thing. If you decide to side with them, you're still not going to prosper. If you decide to side with the elite, you're still going to be mistreated because it's only one planet for us to live on. So by siding with the elite, okay, you might not get treated initially as bad as the blacks or the Latinos or the other community, right? But the problem with white supremacy is that it leads to rebellion. How long do you think all of the colored people on the planet that makes up the majority of the planet are going to co-sign being treated as second class citizens or inferior? Eventually, they're going to rebel. And it's up to the white people, the Christians, the people who have religious views, people who are consider themselves good, people who believe in a higher power. We are, and I am appealing to your humanity as a fellow human on the planet to say, hey, do you think it's right that entire populations are mistreated, entire populations are starved, entire populations don't have shoes on their feet, and a select few of people get to have access to everything? Where is that right? Is at some point we just have to say, logically, does that make sense to you? So this is what I see. I see that things are going to get worse. We can already see that in the trajectory of the last 30 years. Okay. In the last 30 years, the cost of living in so-called first world countries have gone through the roof. So the more that people of color fight for equality, the more white populations also have to compete. Now, if it was the era of slavery, Jim Crow, and discrimination, that was like a system put in place so that more white people could prosper. When you hear stories of things and people say things as such as oh, my grandfather came to the United States from Ireland, or he came to the United States from Italy with $2 in his pocket, and then he became X, Y, and Z. Why do you think that they were able to do that? Because they came to a country where entire populations were being discriminated against. And they reached a point where they were able to prosper based on the social inequality, which is the law of the land. But now people have challenged that, and people are saying, no, I don't agree with that. It's not natural to rule a people militarily. It's very difficult to rule people militarily. Would you agree with that? Why? Because one, it costs billions of dollars to oppress people, even in the Americas. Think about this. Think about the billions of dollars that's used. Billions of dollars are used to incarcerate people, to purposely miseducate people, to use all of these resources for devious methods in order to control a population because you don't like the color of their skin or their ethnicity. However, when it comes to doing things that could be constructive and productive to help fellow humans, the government and the system doesn't have the money or the resources to do it. But our government has money to go to war in Iran, go to war in Gaza or Israel or wherever else, Venezuela. Have money to send billions of money on bombs, but no money to feed people. No money to help the poor infrastructure across the globe. So it's very hard to control a people militarily because either you're going to run out of resources or people are going to be so mistreated that the enemy is going to become clear. See, we have been controlled for a very long time because it's been a lot of misinformation. But I asked the question, and the question is, what role does the internet play in the liberation of all of the oppressed people in the world? Well, I think it plays a big part in it because with the internet, it's getting harder for lies to exist. Because if you say something and then someone can pull up a video of you countering the point that you just made, it's going to be harder to control people because you're going to be exposed as a liar. You can fool some people some of the time, but you can't fool everyone all of the time. And for a very long time, when we had a large population of illiterate people, well, those who controlled the printing press, they wrote the dialogue and the narrative for the people. 50 years ago, people who controlled television controlled the perception and the dialogue of the people, right? But now in modern times, millions of people have cell phones. In modern times, millions of people have access to the internet. And as a result, they are sharing narratives that cannot be ignored. So it's going to be harder to control people and lie to the masses because we each have cell phones and we're in the age of information. And this is very troublesome to those who are in power. So this is why I say that it's very hard to control people militarily because the elite, as I have studied and been studying, and I'm still learning, it's very difficult to control people long term militarily. This is why we can look in the past and we can see empires have fallen because they tried it and it didn't work. Because eventually, if you mistreat people so poorly, eventually they reach a point to say, well, you know what? I can't be treated worse than this, so I might as well rebel. So that's why that's not going to work. So they want to figure out, the elite want to figure out a way to profit off of inequality, but make it as though to where people are not so oppressed that they want to rebel. It's a balance. It's like we want to extract resources, we do want to oppress them, we want a social order, but we don't want to push them so far until they are willing to rebel against us. That is just chaos. And this is a balancing act because you have on one side, you have extremists who they like go further. And then you have moderates that's like, no, don't go so far because if we go so far, we can lose everything that we've been building on. And I believe that white supremacy is dying. It's a ideology and a way of life that should have never existed. Because if we live in a world where we are going to assign a social hierarchy based on the color of one's skin, their country of origin, the language that they speak, I believe that we're doomed. So I believe in my fellow man, and I believe that white people can save the world. I believe that you guys can save the world, and I believe if enough of you open your eyes and really, because you see what we see, and you see it on a different level, because I believe that you look at it and I believe that you guys see it and say, hey, if I go against the elite, then I'm going to be treated just like them. And that scares you. And it's okay to admit that you're scared. For a very long time, black people, Latinos, and others, but especially black people, we have been very afraid. But guess what? We have faced our fears. And in being afraid, we still did everything and we can for the next generation. And then this is why we have a culture of resistance and a culture of rebellion. And this is why we are able to do impossible things. This is why our music, our food, our culture, our language, the way that we think and we process things is a little bit different because our entire culture is about resisting injustice. So we have a culture based on bravery, of courage. However, if you have a culture, and this is not all, but this is just a phrasing, if you have a culture where you say it's okay to mistreat people because we have bigger weapons than they have, it's okay to mistreat people because we have a system to support us, that doesn't create a culture of bravery. It creates a culture of cowardice. Because if you have weapons of war, chemical warfare, you have all of these weapons that could be used against indigenous people that's fighting with bows and arrows, like in the past. You have guns, they have bows and arrows. Are you really brave if you go to war with them? You're fighting wars against people you know that you can dominate. And some would say, well, that's just survival of the fittest. But I would argue against that because I want you to reason with me here. If one culture has a culture of resistance against a stronger enemy, that they fight to retain a self-image, righteousness, they fight to retain a part of their humanity, language, culture, in the face of discrimination. A lot of people could look at that and say, wow, those people are brave. However, if you have a counterculture where it's about taking away someone's humanity, taking away someone's culture, it's hard to say that that is the culture of justice or a culture of bravery. And so we have to change the culture because it is also dehumanizing to whites. Whites are being dehumanized because if you go along with a system that's about injustice and treating people in an inhumane manner, by default, you are co signing something that's evil. So that's really the spill. I believe in ways that white people can help is by one, tell non-white people the truth and tell non-white people what's going on and what conversations are being had behind closed doors when we're not there. How white people can help non-white people is by when we're not there, get information and come back and tell us. Two, it's okay to acknowledge that we live in an unjust society. It's okay to acknowledge that you do see race. It's okay to acknowledge that. You don't have to say, "Oh, I don't see race. I don't see color." Listen, we all see color, unless you're colorblind. It's okay to acknowledge the differences. Okay. Another way that you guys can help produce justice is ask yourself, would I want to be treated this way? That's and then acting on that. Because if we teach our children, and more importantly, if you teach your children to co-sign injustice in the name of survival, you may survive, but you lose your humanity in the process. Think about all of those periods in history where a stronger enemy subdued, enslaved, and conquered a weaker people. But they lost their humanity in the process. The people that won the war still lost their humanity because at the end of the day, to dehumanize a fellow human being is still wrong, in my opinion. And I don't believe that white people are evil. I believe that white people, they are really good white people. And I believe that your image is being destroyed. Do you know when we look at television and we look at and the world politics, your image is not a good image. And I want you to acknowledge that so you can help fight this. Your image, your humanity is at stake. They are destroying your image. They listen, once you start studying the history, you start looking at the television and you start looking at these things and you think like, wow, how can these people blow up an entire country, but they won't even take care of their own citizens? They won't even give, and they are the ones in power. So you guys are in power in the White House. You're in power in England. You're empowered in Ireland. You're in power in Switzerland. You're in power in Greece. You're in power in all of these different nations. Yet the world is not a better place. So I want you to ask yourself, whose fault is that? On one hand, for the racists and the people who argue that they are supreme, my question is, okay, you're supreme. Why is the world in chaos? I would have no problem with white supremacy if it meant that I had food, shelter, clothing, water, and all of my needs were met. I would say, yeah, we need to continue this for another 3,000 years. But the fact that is the exact opposite. It means that it has to end. You have people with nothing, and then you have billionaires. Come on, man. So is very deep, and I believe that it's up to white people to save the world. I believe it's up to white people to save the world, and I believe that white people, the good ones, the ones that's righteous, the soul brothers and sisters, I believe that they see this injustice as well, and I believe that they don't like what a lot of their ancestors have done and what a lot of their cousins and siblings are currently doing, because think about this. What if one day there's no more brown people on the planet? We cease to exist. We go extinct. And it's just y'all on the planet. Who do you think is going to be mistreated next? If there was no more brown people on the planet at all, it's just white tea people on the planet. And you have this culture where someone has to be on the bottom. Who do you think is going to be mistreated now? One of you. A subgroup of your group is going to be mistreated. So this is a conversation that you're not going to get anywhere else. This is a conversation that could be broken down into parts, and I believe that this is a very important conversation and it needs to be had. um I would say that I wish that we lived in a world where no one is mistreated. I don't believe that no one should be mistreated. I'm gonna say that twice. In case someone try to break up my videos, I believe that no one should be mistreated. I believe that no one should be mistreated. I believe that everyone should have access to food, shelter, clothing, water. And I even thought about this. We live in such a world that no matter what you say, you can say something completely innocent and someone can take that apart and destroy what you're trying to say. For example, if I say I believe everyone should have food, shelter, water, safety, and security, that's an innocent statement, right? Someone can say, oh, so if someone hurts kids, do they deserve food, shelter, clothing, water, or safety? You see, no matter what we say or how we say it, someone can twist it, take it, and chop it up and take something that was meant for good and use it for evil. By contrast, it's up to us to take what's meant for evil and use it for good. It's up to us to make the world a better place. It's up to you guys to make the world a better place. Don't just talk it. We sacrificed our lives for this. We done lost a lot of good people in the name of this. Martin Luther King Jr., all of the civil people in the civil rights movements, Malcolm X, Elijah Muhammad, different people across the globe, Patrice Lumumba, Marcus Garvey. I mean, we just got Ida B. Wells. We've been ringing the alarm on what's been going on globally. It's up to you guys to tell the truth. It's up to you guys to make the world a better place. It's up to you all to fight for equality. It's no longer up to us. We did everything that we can do, and we're still demanding justice. But it's up to you guys. It's up to y'all to save the world. Your countries are the countries with the nuclear bombs. Your countries are the countries with that have used atomic bombs. Your countries are the countries that could blow up the world. You have the countries that could blow up the world. Do you want to blow up the world? No. So it's up to you guys. It's up to you guys. And I have faith in you. Some people don't even have faith. Some people is like, man, these people are just going to allow the world to be destroyed in the name of them ruling it. Because that's what it looks like to us. It's like we're ruling the world and we will blow this planet up before we share the planet. And I just don't believe that. That it might be some people in your group that think like that, but I don't think the majority of you all think like that. I believe that it's a lot of good people out there, you know, and I believe that that's who we have to try to get heard. We need those people to be in a position of power, you know, and we need them to advocate, you know, um, for justice, you know, because we are trying our best, but we don't have the privilege that you all have. We don't have the vulnerability that you all have. We have done our best, and to say that we are an oppressed people, we have done a phenomenal job voicing our concerns and our wants. But it's up to you guys now. And I would like to say thank you for everybody that tuned into the stream. I'm going to chop up this and add some clips online. I'm going to continue to have this conversation because I believe it's a perspective that maybe a lot of people just haven't thought about. That is up to white people to save the world, right? And I would like to say a lot of people believe in a savior, a prophet. And a lot of people paint that savior a certain color. So that goes back into what I'm saying. If you really believe in that savior and you believe that he came to give life and have life more everlasting, then you would agree with me that it's up to you to save the world. No matter how you flip it, script it, chop or screw it, it's up to you to save the world. Or you're going to be part of his destruction. You're going to be the one of the biggest reasons the planet was destroyed because we gave in to an ideology that dominance is more important than communication, that injustice is more important than justice, that it's okay to practice violence instead of practice peace, that it's more important to have an ego than it is for children to have food to eat, to have safety and security. And we would have given in to our lower selves instead of aspiring for something higher. So this has been my broadcast. My name is Brian. This is